All right, so I'm at the next falls. Try to get this in before people show up. It's looking like it's probably a little bit of a popular spot. It's a really easy hike to get here, but talk about just spectacular. They're pretty good height too. So I actually think right about where I'm at now is a pretty decent composition, kind of about like that, just without me in it. So I'm going to get set up, get the shot. I'm trying to figure out which direction the sun is moving here as well. I'm all twisted and turned about after the dirt track getting down here. I'm not sure if the waterfall is going to be moving into sunlight or moving more into shadow. So yeah, not much to say other than just absolutely beautiful. And clouds are already filling in. So had a brief period of blue skies as I headed further north and east. I got some really big puffy clouds. You might be able to tell now that clouds are going overhead and cutting out the harsh sunlight. So I'll have plenty of different options for lighting to work with. So I'm going to get set up and start getting some shots. So this is the first composition I set up. I'm really actually very, very happy with that. I'm not sure I'm going to top that actually, but we're going to come out here and carefully walk out into the stream and just take a look at some different compositions from out here. It was such an absolutely beautiful area. So obviously I could shoot it more straight on, but then you're just kind of getting into a plain composition. Now what I could conceivably do is get really close to the more emerald pool and try to catch the currents coming off of the base of the falls and get some nice texture in the water there. So I might actually do that. Otherwise, you know, looking downstream, not a whole lot there. If there was some blooming rhododendron or anything like that, it might be perfect. Actually, I don't think there's rhododendron in this area, so the only downside to Arkansas, if I'm wrong on that and somebody knows, please correct me, but I don't think there are. I haven't seen any plants that look like rhododendron, but so I do think I'm going to get closer. There's actually, you can kind of see some little rocks in the edge of the emerald pool that I might be able to work with. Throughout today, so far, both waterfalls I've been to, I've been working with my Case Magnetic Indy 8 filter, and then my circular polarizer. So between those two, I've been able to work with the shutter speed. Again, I'm working with this one, I think I'm at 4/10 of a second. I was working a 1/4 second, but wanted a little bit more motion captured in the falls. But just a tremendously beautiful area. Now you can see the sunlight's coming out again. But anyways, so I'm gonna get set up closer, but I'm really happy with this first composition I took with those trees kind of providing some foreground interest and then the falls in the background. Also, I realized on the drive here that today is Mother's Day. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that until I was wondering why traffic was heavier, and then thinking, well, maybe everybody's out for Mother's Day. Part of me feels like just completely breaking down, and actually as I talk about it more, I feel more like doing that. But I'm not a religious person, I'm not a spiritual person, but I'll just go with it. My mom is with me in spirit, and I guess my dad too, and couldn't ask to be in a much more beautiful place on Mother's Day in her memory. So yeah, need to stop talking about that for a moment. So let me get refocused on the photography here, but yeah, makes the day all the more special. So back to photography. So you can see on the camera now roughly the composition. I'm going to be closer with my actual camera, but hopefully you're picking up that there are those little kind of currents or ripples coming off the base of the falls, moving towards the camera. So what I'm finding is when I use a long enough shutter speed to smooth out the falls like I want, it's smoothing out the ripples in the foreground in the pool, which is what I expected was going to happen. So I'm probably going to have to do, not probably, I'm going to have to do an exposure blend. So a shorter exposure for the pool to freeze those ripples. And you can see the highlights, specular highlights coming off the ripples kind of in a curving pattern as they work their way out. And then a longer exposure for the falls themselves, and I'll have to blend those together in post. I really don't think I'm going to be able to get it in one exposure where the shutter speed's that perfect balance between smoothing out the falls and freezing the ripples in the foreground in the pool. Just because of how things are moving in the pool, any longer exposure is going to basically knock those out, which I don't want. So right now I'm kind of aimed down a little bit. I'm going to have to play around with that and see, do I need to get closer and aim down further, back up, go lower, just to see which composition I like. I'm pretty happy with what I've got in frame right now, but this is definitely something I want to kind of play around with. Is this a type of composition I've never actually shot before in terms of trying to catch those ripples coming off of the base of a waterfall? I'm thinking back, I think it's Josh Cripps has a shot from New Zealand of a well-known waterfall, which of course I don't know the name of right now, but it's basically a similar idea where you've got the ripples kind of emanating out from the base and then the falls in the background. So we're just going to play around. I am keeping an eye on the clouds because some of those are looking pretty dark up there. Hopefully the rain doesn't arrive here in the northeast a little bit sooner than what it was supposed to when I was back down south a little bit and to the, hell, I don't know if this is the northeast or northwest. This is, I think, slightly northeast of where I was at camp. But anyways, regardless, the sky is actually looking pretty dark. So I'm going to stop once again and get the shots before I have to worry about any kind of rain, because the road to get down here is super rough, a lot of dirt, and if it starts raining, I'm going to have myself in a bit of a pickle, even with the 4Runner and 4-wheel drive, getting back up that. So enough rambling. Alrighty, well that last spot was absolutely gorgeous. Ended up playing around there with some different compositions for probably at least an hour all total, if not a little bit longer. It is now completely clouded over. I'm going to start making my way back towards Texas. There is one waterfall right off the scenic byway I'm going to take. Literally, you can apparently see it right from the road. So I'm just going to make that my route and see what that's all about. The photo in the guidebook doesn't look all that exciting, but it also looks like it was taken during late fall or winter. so there's no foliage. So maybe with foliage it'll look better. Apparently it is also a very popular spot given its location right off the road. So it's entirely possible that I'll get there and there'll just be so many people around. I either can't or don't want to deal with other people being around and in the way and whatnot, and I may not take the shot. So that is the plan right now. Put me into home around 10 p.m. I would guess, with stops. So unless I come back for this other waterfall, I think I'm pretty well done. But I'm not going to sign off just yet because, hey, maybe I'll get to this one and be impressed and get the camera out. So I'll do one more check-in at least, and in the meantime I've got about an hour and a half drive to get there. So as usual, it's not that far, but we're in the mountains, so everything's far. So that is it for now. Just a quick interlude. I've got about 8.5 miles to go to get to the waterfall still. But if you're not familiar with Arkansas, this is a little bit of what you can expect. Let me flip you around here real quick. Not bad. I could see where maybe this could be something, but it is convenient. It's literally right off the road, but I've had peas with more flow than that. So I guess that's going to be it for the trip. So I'm going to hop back in the truck. It would help if I kept my microphone up. I'm going to hop back in the truck, keep on keeping on. Ending the trip on a bit of a downer, but overall I think it was pretty good. So anyways, hope you like the series of videos. As always, thanks for tagging along, and until next time, take care. Thank you, as always, to my Patreon members for the ongoing contributions as I pursue my passion to bring the beauty of the world into your homes through videos like this and more. If you'd like to help support my work, you can do so by becoming a member of my Patreon, purchasing fine art prints via my website, or by making a one-time donation through PayPal. Your support is always greatly appreciated.